What up, guys? James from Bolt Bros here. Less than 24 hours ago, we signed Jim Harbaugh. He is the coach of the Chargers, making the Bolts great again. So excited about it. But I did want to talk about now, since we're past the point we do have Jim Harbaugh as our coach, how is he as a head coach? And I'm going to give a perspective from Richard Sherman. So I'll show you a little video on that. Let's get into it, guys. Bolt Bros, let's go.
I'm Dale Henley. You watching the Bolt Bros podcast? Let's do it!
Guys, it is exciting times as a Chargers fan, man. I am so excited about the next season. It's weird that this season still isn't over with for 2023, but 2024 is going to be fun, guys. I can't wait for it. So once again, guys, appreciate all the support and love. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you've not. Just wanted to jump in real quick on a quick screenshot here. Man, AFC West is going to be wild, guys. The coaches we have in this division are unbelievable. You got obviously Jim Harbaugh coming back since 2014 and what he's done in the college rankings, winning a natty recently with Michigan. Obviously Andy Reid, two-time winning Super Bowl championship head coach, guy that has actually been in the AFC championship game in the last 6 years with Patrick Mahomes. Unbelievable. Sean Payton, obviously one-time Super Bowl winning head coach. We got a lot of good dudes in this division as head coaches. Now, I'm not going to talk much about Antonio Pierce because it's family trust, respect all around here, guys. It's going to be a hard one for him. Hard road ahead with these three coaches in the AFC West. Now, I want to move on a little bit to an interview that I saw this morning from Gojo and Golic and Richard Sherman talking about his time with Jim Harbaugh at Stanford. If you know anything about their past, there's a lot of rockiness to their past. They kind of have a little bit of a rift between each other in relationships wise. Both high competitor guys that want to win, guys that want to achieve the best and be the best. And you love to be able to know that that is what something Jim Harbaugh is going to bring to this team. He's going to want to be the best and be the best and do his job and be able to be that competitor that lights fires in players. And that is something that we've been massively missing as a team. We need somebody to light the fire under the butts for these players. And I love seeing that. And Richard Sherman, he's been pretty vocal about it, about the relationship that he had with Jim Harbaugh. They butted heads quite a bit and everything here. But let's go ahead and jump into this interview real quick and just his comments, and we'll jump in further about this. I think it's a great interview all around.
What is the player experience like playing for Jim Harbaugh?
Gotta love it.
Well, I never played for him in the NFL, but
and played a lot
against him. He's a different kind of guy. He usually hires great coaches around him. He's kind of quirky at times. He's out of the ordinary. He's kind of, sometimes you look at things and you're like, man, that's not the way everybody else would do it, but I respect the way you.
I just want to jump on that real quick. Quirkier head coach. We all heard that. He's going to be kind of a little different about as a coach and how he does things. He might do the unorthodox way of coaching players, teams, and such too. But he's going to make sure he does the things to be able to get your team to be a better team. We want to elevate this team, right? You got to create a culture that might be a little bit unorthodox. But at the same side, if you win, it doesn't matter. If you get the most out of your players, it doesn't matter. It's about just making your team better. Odd story I heard a little bit is that Jim Harbaugh was in the weight room, shirt off, hitting racks, just doing some straight squats, shirt off, doing his thing. It's just kind of funny as a player to be able to see Jim Harbaugh come in the locker room, basically just hitting squats, just going, shirt off. You got a 60-year-old guy in the weight room just pumping iron. I love it. I love it so much. Let's keep going on in this interview.
you're doing it, you know, because in college you got winter conditioning, you got things like that, and he may have guys wrestling and see who can take the sock off of a guy instead of doing a normal 6 a.m. drill. You're like, well, I'm a corner that weighs 180 pounds, and that's a 360-pound lineman, and you want us to wrestle for a sock. I just don't feel like this is going to go well, but I got you. I'll do it.
Now, that is funny, right? Just a little bit unorthodox way of trying to create competition. You know, a corner, 180-pound, soaking wet type corner, you know, Richard Sherman going against a 300-something pound base lineman trying to get a sock off of his foot. You know, that's the competitor that in him. He wants to be able to see inner competition between them. He wants players to try more, to be able to just do the more, to be able to be better as a player. I love seeing stuff like that. It sounds really weird to try to take a sock off of a lineman or whatnot and just think of size differences, but it's about the effort, the challenge of keep going after it and trying to find a way to be able to win the battle with the other players. I love seeing that. And I've been saying for a long time that I feel like the Chargers have been a team where they just look like players going out on the field, just do their job, get out of there healthy, don't worry about it. We'll just move on to the next game. I want to get out of the season healthy, and just not being that extra effort type player. And it was very rare to be able to see that for the Chargers last season. It seemed like after Justin Herbert went down, everybody just kind of decided to fold up the season, call it a day. It seemed like the only guy that was really had a high effort was still Gerald Everett. He seemed to be the guy that really wanted to try more still. And he could be a guy that kind of fits pretty well with Jim Harbaugh in his philosophy. So let's move on a little bit further with what Richard Sherman talks about with Jim Harbaugh.
You're telling me to do it, you know, or he might have guys go out there and get on the track after a 6 a.m. workout and race for starting spots. And, you know, you're like, I'm the starting corner, and I got to go race these guys in a 200 for my starting spot. And I'm like, well, I mean, I might not beat them in a 200, but I promise you I'm a better football player than them. But
look, that's what you want to see, guys. Competition. No guarantees of your starting positions. Now, I understand the same side. College is different than the pros. Pros, you pay big money to a guy to be the starting guy. You probably don't think that there's going to be that many times where you're going to go out and do a foot race to be able to get starting jobs at that point. But it's competition. You want to be able to see a guy that creates competition, creates a better culture. I do feel like when Marty Schottenheimer was with the Chargers in the mid-2000s, he created competition between the players. He wanted to elevate every single player on that team. He wanted every player to be ready to play in that next game. He had everybody ready to go. And I love to be able to hear this with Jim Harbaugh. This is an absolute home run type hire for the Chargers. Culture changing type of hire for the Chargers. Could be an absolute massive change for this entire organization. Let's continue going on to this interview here. Love hearing all this stuff.
You know, just the kind of competitive, you know, just get the competitive juices
go.
going and make things competitive year round.
I like it.
Unconventional. Those are the kind of things that he did, but he usually hires fantastic coaches around him.
Yep.
He's usually great in-game managing situations.
Perfect.
Making decisions. You don't hear, you know, many situations where Jim Harbaugh made the wrong decision. He went for it when he shouldn't have, or he didn't punt here, he kicked the field goal here, or should have went for it here and he didn't.
That's
usually
what we
he's
need.
making the right decisions. And he got a good scheme offensively and defensively.
Guys, do you get goosebumps hearing that? A coach that knows what to do in game, doesn't make bad decisions in game, understands situational football, makes the right decision, doesn't make a bad decision. Love it. This is everything that the Chargers could imagine for a head coach. You know, you even hear about some of the rumors about him changing kind of the basically inner workings of the organization. With the new facility that they're opening up, they're talking about a whole nutrition-based plan, changing out how this whole organization basically works from the bottom to the top. Different philosophy, different idea. This is such a home run based hire for the Chargers. Highly unconventional as a hiring for the Chargers, but it's one of those things that you're going to see a whole different type Chargers here. And I love seeing that. Now, even on the Pat McAfee show this morning, Harbaugh will give the Chargers basically a whole new identity That's what we need, guys. That's what this is all about. This hiring is much larger than just Jim Harbaugh. This is about changing how this team operates top to bottom. It's one of those hirings that's going to be an absolute home run for this team in the long run. And I hope in the same sense, it's going to be a hiring that's going to be for 10 plus years for this team and a lot of championships, please. Now, even just to take it one step further, this was a home run for Justin Herbert. We know who he is. For his first 4 years, look at this, completions. He ranked first in the NFL. Pass yards, first in the NFL. Pass TDs, second, tied for second in the NFL for touchdowns. This is absolutely massive for Justin Herbert for this hiring. You know what? Justin Herbert squared is what I'm going to call it, or JH squared. So you got Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh. This is going to be one of those pairings that could potentially be one of those Belichick, Tom Brady type situations. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. Could be those pairings, Sean Payton, Drew Brees. One of those pairings where they go hand in hand. And Jim Harbaugh, based upon everything that we've heard about him, even with that little clip about Richard Sherman talking about how it was playing for Jim Harbaugh at Stanford, you're going to see a whole different type Chargers here. And I love it. Truly, I feel that Jim Harbaugh is going to make the Bolts great again, and probably at a level that we've never seen the Chargers ever as an organization. So, home run hire by the Spanoses. Shout out to the Spanoses. Shout out to all the media. Shout out to the podcasters. Shout out to everybody just saying, hey, this is the guy we need. And I think the pressure did get to the Spanoses, and they knew it was the right choice. So, once again, I am beyond excited about this. I'm beyond excited to see the culture change for the Chargers and really making this team an absolute great team. So once again, guys, appreciate all the support. Love to be able to hear some of your comments below. Once again, guys, James from Bolt Bros. Let's go.